Hello, listener. Thanks for pressing play on this episode of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. We've got more
Geekerific
trailers for you. We discuss the latest trailers for Stranger Things and The Punisher on Netflix, as well as the New Mutants and that awesome Black Panther trailer. Plus, our journey watching Game of Thrones for the first time continues as we discuss where all of our favorite players are during Season 5.
Wowie zowie!
Also, I got iTunes reviews, comments, and email from you, the listener, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Friday, October 20th, 2017.
Jock and Nerd! Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah! We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah! Jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, welcome back to another weekly dose of Jockin' and Nerdin'. Spoiler alert, and this is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
Jock and Nerd.
And that's where you get the title of the show. Welcome, everyone.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back, Anthony. We missed you last week. I know you were a little bit busy with the Cubby Bears. But, this will be old news by the time this posts. You watched their last game last night for the season.
Yeah. Less said, the better.
Yes, it's going to be...
At least we won this World Series last year, so I can't complain.
But look, basically, Chicago baseball fans will not have the same October as they had last year. But that's okay. We did it once. You got to live through the experience.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you are a first-time listener, thanks for checking us out. Our slogan here is, what do? We give you comic book and superhero-related news, reviews, and interviews.
Geek Boner.
Except we haven't given an interview in a really long time.
Occasionally interviews, news reviews, and occasional interviews. The interviews be coming back. Look, it goes with the flow. I mean, you don't want to force these things.
I got you.
You know what? They got to happen organically. But that's what you're going to get once you subscribe to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Here's what you also get. All of the time you will get a nerd, which is me. Because all the recording shit is over here on my end. So 100% of the time, all the time there's a nerd. Most of the time you will get the Jock.
Yeah, most of the time.
Like most of the time.
Like 95% of the time.
Right. So, and we have a great cast of characters. And then a lot of the time you will also get a puppet, an actual felty American named Rugberto Bambino, but we call him Rug Boy. He sounds like
I'd say like
this.
75% of the time.
Geekerific.
That's
You'll
Rug
get,
Boy.
you'll get that asshole. When I love that Imran describes him as a puppet, even though this is an audio show, so there's no visual aspect to this, so it really doesn't matter if he's a puppet or if he's a real human or what the fuck he is. He's just a disembodied voice to the most of the listeners.
That's precisely why I have to mention that he is a puppet. You may think that it's just another asshole. It is another asshole.
He is an asshole and a slack hole.
But he has a slack hole. He's made out of felt, and he couldn't join us today because, a little while ago, there's a little trouble with the Felty law, and he's kind of been on the run. So, you know how there's that underground mutant network in The Gifted that helps mutants relocate? He reached out to the underground Felty network, and they're just relocating him.
You still watching The Gifted?
I did. I have to catch up. I watched the second one. It's pretty good. I
still haven't watched any of it.
Oh man, it's a good show.
Maybe I'll throw it on after this podcast.
Yes, if you're new, we did review the pilot episode of The Gifted. So that's what you're gonna get. But then I also have, I thought another way to explain the show is we got a new review on iTunes. And what better way to figure out what you're getting into than by listening to the comments and thoughts of some other asshole that decided to leave us asshole thoughts here.
Wow. There's a lot of assholes involved in all of this, isn't there?
Assholes and opinions, and that's what we got. But
what if you have no lower body? Are you still allowed to have an opinion because you don't have an asshole?
I don't think you are allowed to have an opinion if you're in that state. Yeah. You don't have an asshole, you don't get to have an opinion. It's law. I believe it's written down somewhere. I'm sorry if you're in that condition. You can have an opinion. This is Anthony's fault. He goaded me into that.
I know. I'm sorry.
Look, this review titled Intense and Enjoyable by listener Sam Culper. He wrote on iTunes, last night I listened to Imran and Anthony talk about Terminator, Game of Thrones, Star Trek, and a host of others. for 2+ hours. After listening, I have come to the conclusion that I can now simply wake up to the Jock and Nerd podcast and forego my usual cup of coffee, as I'm quite sure that one can coast for hours on Imran's intensity alone. Extremely well produced with quality content and great interaction among the hosts. If you dig pop culture, these guys are for you.
Geek Boner.
There you go, listener. That's what you're getting into. That's a pretty solid
pretty
review.
good. Yeah,
Right? We thank you, Sam Culper.
I read that review and I misread intensity for insanity. I would prefer if he would have put insanity.
Either
in there.
word could work in that point. You could flip it out. But look, here's another thing. If you have a podcast you live a review, I will shout out your podcast. Sam does a podcast called The Breakers Podcast. I'll put a link in the show notes. jockandnerd.com/191, and it's a fictional podcast about a character named Shepard Gray, and it's about his account of what life looks like after organized civilization crumbles as he and his faithful canine companion Rommel venture out from their home in Virginia to try and count themselves among the survivors. That's kind of cool. It's kind of like a Walking Dead without like zombies, just like
Just him and a dog.
Just him and a dog walking out trying to figure shit out. It sounds
I
like
had a
cool.
Filipino friend named Romel.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular name over there.
I don't know. It's just funny that he has a dog named Romel.
Hey, Romel. Hey, you mentioning Filipino. Here's another great thing about this show. You want to talk about diversity? Right now, you have on myself, who's 100% Pakistani.
Yeah, but
Anthony,
you're white.
But I look white because I have vitiligo. That's a whole other story. But on the inside, my blood is 100% Pakistani. Anthony, what are you?
A Mongoloid. No, I'm Filipino and Polish.
And Polish. So look, between us right here, we have half of a white guy. And it's like if the
An
show
imposter white guy.
and a fake white guy. But just think of it this way: if
Trump's
the show,
America.
it is Trump's. It's everything Trump hates. No, that's actually
what he likes.
However, look, I would have to say in terms of diversity, if the show applied for like a minority scholarship for college, I think we'd get it. I think we'd get a good chunk of change.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
you would walk in, and they would think you're definitely Anthony, my last Polish last name, because
Yes.
you're white.
yes.
And then they would be so confused when
You're
I
like,
walk
wait,
in.
you're not Imran?
Yeah.
They're like, you lied to me. I will Photoshop my photo.
It would be like you would have to apply.
Yes.
Or like I would have to be the person that applies, but I'd have to walk in as Imran.
You'd have to go in person as me to
Yeah.
make the whole
to make
thing
the
legit.
to make it legit, because otherwise they're gonna be like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
You know what? Fuck scholarships. College is a scam. Don't do it, kids.
Okay. You should definitely go to college because not because of the education, but because it's a fucking good time. Unless you go to some art school named Pratt.
Dude, art school is a good time. Believe me.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Don't go to college. Don't go to college. Let's get to the
go to
news.
college, just party.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
We clearly had two wildly different college experiences.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Listener, if you want to get in touch with the show and let us know what your ethnic background is, I don't know why, it's kind of fun. Just visit jockandnerd.com/contact for all the ways: Twitter, Facebook, email, Speak Pipe, and our awesome Facebook group that's had some crazy fun conversations in the past week. Did you see that thread about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? That was fantastic.
I was a participant in that thread.
Yes, that was fantastic. The best part was Chris Williams started, and then he comes in later. He's like, "Oh, is this still going on?"
Yeah.
And you
He
were like,
brought it up.
I was like, you were like, you brought it up.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
Go stroke a barbell.
Basically, he said go do some goblet squats, which is I was surprised he knew that.
kettlebell swings. Do some kettlebell squats and Turkish get-ups.
Goblet squats. Yeah, Turkish get-ups. Those are hard.
That shit is hard. But I want to share real quick a comment from our listener, Wes Cranford, the Yank from Down Under.
Oh, this is great.
He's hilarious.
It makes no goddamn sense.
I love Wes' sense of humor so much. I also have an email from him at the end of the show. This is what he says. I'm going to read it word for word because you kind of have to. He says, I'm settling into Discovery. Really enjoyed last ones. Have some nitpicks, but nothing major. It's interesting waiting on a show each week. I kind of like it as it gives you something to look forward and makes it an event, parentheses, of one crying emoticon, laughing emoticon, parentheses. Once you guys finish Game of Thrones, you should watch, and Rugboy can pick it apart while Imran expresses joy and goes along with what everyone says, even when they contradict him, and Anthony keeps them in line with a hint of derision. Love it. P.S. I'm really baked right now in case none of this makes sense. Good day, Wes.
Geek Boner Nerd.
You win.
I'm glad that he ended that with him being baked because I was
Yes.
like, I don't know what the fuck any of this means.
Well, I think he was talking about the Star Trek Discovery in the beginning. Show.
Is that what he was talking about?
Yes.
I understood the last part where he kind of like summed up our personalities on the show. But I was like, what is he talking about? It reminds me of the time when you called me one time and left me a voicemail.
Yes.
And you went on this like long diatribe about how we should do a crossover with the 365 Flicks guys.
Yeah.
And it'd be like sort of like a CW version, or like our version of the CW's Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow.
Arrowverse crossover.
Yeah, Arrowverse crossover. And then you ended with, I don't know if this makes any sense right now, but I had to tell you because I'm really baked.
At the time, it sounded like the craziest idea. Like, no one has come up with this in the history of like podcasting and recording media.
Actually, you used the word "I'm really stoned," which made it great.
Yeah. So I was like, I have to see if this holds up tomorrow morning. I'm just gonna send this to Anthony.
So this was like this brought those memories back.
This is why I love Wes Cranford. Also, if you're a new listener, that is a really accurate description of the show. That's what you're gonna get.
Well, if you get really stoned, and you're a listener of the show, just write in because we will read it. Yes. And it will probably be hilarious.
Please write in while stoned. Don't worry about punctuation or grammar. Just free thought.
That is your task for the week. Go find some of your best bud, smoke it.
Yes.
And then write in.
I like this. show@jockandnerd.com is the email. Stoners, if you forget, just click the link in the show notes.
You probably will forget because you get so fucking stoned.
And you've probably already forgotten what we asked you to do. But that's fine. Just hit the 30-second back button right now and listen to it again. Wait, what? What were they saying? So this show, we got some news. I didn't even tell you guys what we're going to do. We got a bunch of new trailers. We talked about trailers last week. We got more trailers we're going to discuss. And our Game of Thrones first run watch 7 years late continues in the second half as we will discuss Game of Thrones Season 5 in detail.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord. Call me Lord Imran of the Marijuana Shire. Okay, so Anthony, this is what I'm going to do. Since you missed last week, we talked about like 5 trailers last week.
Okay.
So I'm going to name the trailer and you tell me comment or pass.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
First one, we're going to start with television. The trailer for Happy on Sci-Fi.
Pass.
Which is, okay.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the one with the little tiny imaginary unicorn, blue unicorn.
No, okay. Not watching that.
Marvel's Runaways on Hulu.
Let me watch it right now.
Okay, time jump, everyone.
Jock and Nerd.
Anthony, would you watch the show? What'd you think of the trailer?
I don't know. I'm not a big Runaways guy. I guess the concept is these kids find out that their parents are villains.
Yeah, they find out that they're the kids of supervillain clan, and they all have powers. The parents have powers. They have powers.
Right.
And then they run, and people chase them, and
hence Runaways. Okay, I know they were trying to make this a movie at one point. I don't know if I'd watch it.
Okay,
it looked kind of teenage angsty to me.
Yeah.
And not in the fun Spider-Man Homecoming kind of way, but more in the like Nickelodeon, not even Nick. I don't even know, like this tweener feel.
Yeah. Rugboy said last week like an ABC Family teeny soap opera.
Either like that, or I even felt like it was like a UPN, like the OC kind of feel. Especially with that music. That music was really weird.
It. The music really, I don't like that tone with that music.
That music was like, it reminded me of watching like The Hills on MTV or something.
Yes, it's like the OC. Like if you just change the music alone, this show takes on like a whole different tone. And this one, I feel the same way. I don't know.
Interesting concept. I know that it was a very popular book amongst comic book fans.
Yep.
It is an interesting concept, but that trailer did not sell me on it.
Well, maybe we'll check out the pilot or something and see what the tone
I don't have Hulu,
is like.
But yeah.
There's ways to watch. Okay, next trailer, Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yes, I've watched that.
Okay, what did you think?
I liked it. I know Rug Boy was very hesitant on this movie.
Wait, before you continue, I know the answer to this question. I have to ask you, did you listen to last week's show?
No, fuck no.
Okay, I'm right again. I do. I got the right answer. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to listen.
Okay.
I'm with you all the time. Anyways, Pacific Rim Uprising. I liked the trailer. I think the reason I liked it was because they had a song on there that was either Tupac or sounded like Tupac.
Oh, okay.
I thought the fucking music was amazing.
Yeah.
The stuff on screen was okay. I mean, it wasn't like mind-blowing. It wasn't terrible. It looked kind of fun. But to me, the fucking music put it over the top. By the end of that trailer, I was like fucking pumped.
Yeah. Oh, it pumps you up. Nice.
Oh yeah, like I was ready to run through a wall.
It looks like it's gonna be as fun as the first one, and it's bigger. But
Well, I just the part where it's like I'm gonna get it on to dude. I'm like, oh my god.
See, music could do amazing
Music.
things.
It was the music. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a lot of it shot during the daytime.
Yeah, there's a lot of daytime shots of these Jaegers.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It
What
looks
do you think
like
of how they look?
they look kind of the same to me. They look like they how they did in the first time, except it's not nighttime anymore. It's mostly in the day.
Yeah. Are you a fan of John Boyega's mustache?
Oh shit! I didn't even notice he had a mustache. Let me look
He's
at
got
this
like a thin, light, like little porn stash, and he's very British.
Yeah, let him. Whatever.
You rock it. Yeah, you rock it.
I like John Boyega
stash. Yeah, yeah.
I liked it. I was less enthusiastic about this movie to start with, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, "That looks good."
All right, so the trailer did its job to hype you up. Okay, Justice League. That second trailer, final trailer.
It's
the final.
Jesus Christ! It feels like this movie's been hyped and built up to for like 5 years.
Yes. Is this ever coming out?
Right.
It's almost out, but you're right. It feels like the longest production. So much story, and we get another trailer, which kind of showed us more of the same stuff, but different from the first trailer, but more of the same beats. But we see Clark motherfucking Kent. That's what I said last week. And this is what I asked Rug Boy last week. I was like, oh, it's a dream. Of course. How many dream sequences do you think are in Justice League?
I like that we started. So I'll start with this trailer now. I did see it. I like that we started with Amy Adams, who is by far the most boring character in all of these movies.
Yes.
She's got absolutely no personality whatsoever. I like that also we start with Clark Kent because it's the worst kept secret ever that he's in this movie. And I like that they kind of emphasize that he's got a hairy chest. A hairy chested Superman. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Someone is looking at Henry Cavill's chest.
Well, he's got like a button unbuttoned, and it's like it focuses in on his chest. So it's like, hairy chested Superman. He's a badass. As far as the trailer itself, I was very underwhelmed by that. I thought it looked kind of shitty, especially when they get to the part where the city is red. Like that to me looks terrible. I don't care what anybody says. That doesn't look. I know that a lot of big like Marvel uses CGI and all that stuff, but that world does not look like anything at all.
It's just so obviously all done in post,
right? It's because the first couple trailers had it at night, and then now they've changed it in the last couple trailers to just like a red. I think they wanted to create a contrast so you could see the characters better. Yeah, but that doesn't look good. That world does not look lived in at all.
I know. I kind of see what you're saying. I agree. I mean, it's really
literally like, again, all movies use CGI. A lot of movies use green screen, but this literally is like we went into a green screen studio, and just filmed all of this.
And that's how Snyder felt. There's something about his green screen that always bothers me. I feel like he uses it when it's not necessary a lot, and that's what kind of kills.
There's a fine line between like making it look comic booky and like otherworldly, and making it look completely fake. But when like Aquaman's flying around killing parademons and shit, that to me is not. Yeah, that doesn't look good.
It's no. I'm watching it now. You're right. It's just like there's no lighting on him, and
it's very video game-esque.
Yeah. And this, what do you think of this Aquaman who's just going, my man? Yeah.
I go back and forth on it. Aquaman, like,
do you like this Aquaman?
Sometimes I like dirtbag Aquaman, and then I'm like, okay, like why is this guy his entire role is just going to be like fucking jock motherfucker that has like 2 lines and just says like all the cool shit. And then like Flash, for me, like I know some people find him funny. I find him to be like
it's already
a
wearing
bumbling
thin,
idiot.
isn't it? Yeah.
Like, and not in like kind of cute like he's special. Like it's more like you're just a moron.
You're an idiot. And we've seen three really goofy joke moments from him, and it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, it's like the joke moments are like it's one of those like Whedon kind of feels where like a character is just there to tell jokes.
Yes.
And he doesn't seem like a real person. He's just like, that's the signal. I'm sorry, that's the signal. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. It's very forced for me. If you can't tell, I didn't like this trailer.
So speaking of the Joss Whedon, do you see any influence of Whedon in any of this?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
Yeah.
from what the rumors are, he filmed a lot of the stuff that is like the connective tissue. Like he reshot a lot of like the talkie scenes.
Yes.
So wasn't a ton of talking, so we'll see. I feel like this movie is definitely going to have a bigger focus on Wonder Woman than it probably had before.
Plus, they have to like give you origins or introduce like 3 new characters that we've never met. Like, and then I said last week, like, there's really no sense of like plot or story. It's like, this guy attacks, he gets these people, they got to fight him. Like, what else is there? What is there going to be more?
Oh, and I also have to say the "We Can Be Heroes" song.
Yeah,
didn't like it.
No,
it's like. Yeah. Again, it's something where like a lot of trailer movies are very spot on with their music, but this one is like Zack Snyder to a T, where it's like,
yes,
not even like background music or something that's like you can connect the dots and see how this music would connect to this trailer.
He's telling you we could be heroes.
Right, he's literally slapping you in the face with it. Literally, like when he did Man of Steel, and he did like 3 scenes where Superman was either in a church or falling with his hands out like he's on the cross. I'm like, I get it. You think he's fucking Jesus. I get it. There's nothing subtle about what Zack Snyder does, and I know he probably didn't make the trailer, but it feels like he was like, yep, we're using We Can Be Heroes to be the fucking...
ham-fisted, heavy-handed. And remember, the other trailer, he's telling us they're going to come together with a cover of... Also, I hate the choice of the covers of these great songs. I almost feel like if we're going to do that, just play the fucking Beatles song. Right. Play the fucking Bowie song. Don't give me these shitty covers.
Yeah.
I don't like
these songs are... I don't know. I don't like them.
So Kevin Halden of the Facebook group reportedly he loved it, but he posted that reported runtime of almost 3 hours. Possibly this is going to be a 2-hour, 50-minute movie.
He posted it, but then it was like from a guy named Vinny. Like,
I tried to look it up, and it's like not actually confirmed anywhere.
Yeah, dude, come on. So. Post some stuff from some credible sources.
Where's the source?
He is notorious for posting on our Facebook group like poorly written articles of defending like DC stuff and stuff that's like from bad websites or like things that just flat out like are lies or nothing. Like,
look,
nothing credible.
If the listener out there joins our Facebook group or is part of the Facebook group, the minute you post an article from moviepilot.com,
terrible,
I am banning you from the group. I'm sorry, you cannot post it anymore.
Yeah, Movie Pilot is like some fan wrote that.
Do not post anything from moviefuckpilot.com. But yeah, and we'll get into I mean, this movie's just taking forever.
I wonder what you guys thought of it, but I can listen to the show. We don't need to recap.
You can listen to the show. That's kind of what I said. All right, last one we talked about last week. Star Wars episode, what is it? 8, The Last Jedi.
I saw this.
Alrighty.
When did they show this? It was during a sports thing, right?
During Monday Night Football, I believe.
Yes, because the Bears were playing, so I was watching this.
Yes. So you saw it
while it aired, and I haven't seen it since, so I'm kind of fuzzy on the details. It looks like some ominous shit's happening. A lot more Luke, some Princess Leia action, and then it looked like they might have like spoiled something at the end.
Well,
it looks
Rian
like
Johnson,
what's his name?
Yeah.
What's her name? The girl?
Ray says, I need someone to help me find my place, and it cuts to Kylo and his outstretched arm.
Yeah, they shake hands, right?
Yeah, but he just has his hand out, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So,
and Rian Johnson tweeted out like, "Hey, this is a great trailer, but if you really want to avoid spoilers, don't watch this."
However, we also discussed on last week's show. I think that was a little of just PR, hyping because we talked about. I found an article that said that they actually sat down and they have a plan. They're like, "Here's all the stuff we will not reveal." All this stuff is off limits. Here's what you can. And I really don't think it could be cut to look that way. I really don't think they give away anything, but I think they want you to think so. But I love the way they cut these Star Wars trailers because what it does for me is it leaves me with like a million more questions without giving anything away and really sucking me in. I was like, I have to see what happens because I'm like, does Rey go to the dark side? Does Kylo go to the light side? Does Luke go bad? Who the fuck is Snoke? What's going on there? Like, I love that it does this and it always succeeds in doing that.
I mean, this is probably this is the second movie, so it's like that Empire Strikes Back feel where the heroes are going to be in the dumps probably by the end of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if is it Ren?
Ray.
Is like turned on the dark side. Because they're in the beginning, they're like, she doesn't even really want to use the Force or something, right?
Yeah, she's super strong, like more.
She doesn't
powerful.
need the Force or some shit.
And there's that line they allude to like Luke's Jedi castle being burned down, and he's like, I saw something that was powerful before. It didn't scare me then. It scares me now. And
did you guys talk about how Luke? Do you think he's going to die in this?
Well, we know Carrie Fisher's probably not going to make it out of the movie.
R.I.P.
Luke, I think if anything, might turn to like the dark side or be the gray Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
It's the Last Jedi. And like Empire Strikes Back, it's going to be the darker movie, and it's going to end all fucked up. It's got to end all broken apart so that there's something to build back up in the last movie. So who knows? But the curiosity, the questions, the way that you think of watching the way they cut these trailers is great. Like that's like a complete different comparison to like Justice League trailers. Like this is how you do it right. Justice League, at least they're not showing us everything, but they probably are. I don't know. Also, we have the title of the next standalone spinoff, the Han Solo movie. Mm-hmm. It's appropriately titled Solo, a Star Wars story, which sounds like a documentary of like a cup company, like a paper cup company. Solo, I don't know. I just thought that was...
Yeah, it is a weird... I mean, Han Solo, but yeah, weird.
They could have done Han Solo. It's just like Solo, I think of paper cups, whatever. All right, so those are the trailers catching up now. New trailers for this week. Again, starting with television. There was a new Stranger Things Season 2 trailer, and I put it in here, Anthony, because you watched the first one, and you have not seen the first season, and you got all excited. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe you'd be interested in watching this one. Have you seen it?
Should I watch it now?
Sure.
It's long. Okay.
Time jump.
Talking nerd.
Okay, I think this is really interesting because you have not watched the first season.
No.
But you watched that first trailer. You watched this one.
I was sold on that first trailer.
Okay,
yes.
you were pumped up. I remember. What'd you think of this trailer?
This one I was not as pumped.
Yeah.
I like the music. I think it's well done.
I love the trailer. The music is so 80s like horror.
There's a lot of 80s stuff going on in there. Again, the 80s is not my thing, but I saw like a Karate Kid kind of feel. Judgment Day.
Yeah, there's Giant Monster.
A lot of shit. Yeah, I don't know. It looks good. I'm more curious to hear what you think, because honestly, I'm sure that trailer would have hit me harder if I knew who the characters were.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about this trailer. It's heavily based on if you have seen the first season.
That's what it seemed like. Well, the other one was like, I feel cool. This is just a cool trailer.
It was like a little scene from the show giving you the feel. You didn't really have to know anything. Right. You know. Also, the guy, the cop there with the beard, that's David Harbour. That's the guy playing Hellboy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, I really love this trailer. The music's great. It's a great way. It has a lot of callbacks from the first season, like the bat with the nails in it that got used, and you see a lot of characters. One thing that's weird is that girl with the curly hair who took the Eggo waffles. Mm-hmm. Her name's
that was a girl?
That was a girl. Yeah. Her name is 11, and we kind of knew she was going to be in this season. I guess it kind of resolves a cliffhanger that they left at the end of last season. So it's almost like a little spoiler. I kind of wish they didn't let us know 11 was going to be in it, because when
that stinks.
When the first season ends, you don't know what happened to her. Like you think she died, basically. So, but I'm glad she's back because she is an amazing character. She's she controls a lot of what happens in this other world in the Upside Down. She has a lot of powers. She can make things happen. It's very mysterious. But I'm psyched for this season. But I think you have to watch the first season to enjoy this.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah. You definitely should. Highly recommend it. It's really good. Okay, let's move on to the next trailer for another TV show on Netflix. Again, we have a second trailer for The Punisher. And not only that, we finally have a release date.
Geek Boner.
Guess what day it's coming out on? The same day as Justice League.
They would do that.
November 17th. First of all, do you think this is going to hurt the Justice League box office?
No.
So we know they pushed this back because of the shootings in Vegas, and they probably wanted to go a week earlier. Or maybe this was always planned. I don't know. But like to put it on the same day, like what do you do that day? What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm watching Justice League
first, and then watch The Punisher.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of this trailer?
I liked it. I mean, I think the only thing I didn't like or was kind of confused on is I thought we had established how his family got killed in season 2 of Daredevil, and this kind of felt like they're changing it or ignoring it. Because in season 2 of Daredevil, I might be wrong, but I thought his family just got caught up in a drug sting.
Yeah. So,
but then then the blacksmith, was he involved then? I don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember. But this seems like his family was like murdered on purpose.
Well, yeah. So they're starting to allude that when he was part of the military,
he was a hitman.
They turned him into a hitman. They made him torture, or they tortured him. And then I guess he was also a witness to a crime, and then they took his family out trying to get to him or something, is kind of what they're saying. But look, the one thing I found in the 1 minute I took to look this up is somebody wrote, I was like, what was Daredevil Punisher's origin in Daredevil season 2? And basically all it says is a beautiful wife, 2 innocent young children gunned down when unexpectedly caught in the crossfire of a gang war in Central Park. In response, Frank himself, a former Marine, committed himself to a one-man war against all crime in New York City, but in particular the 3 gangs. So there was the Irish, the bikers, and the cartel that were part of this. So I don't know.
I think there was something where it was like a cover-up, and then the blacksmith was involved and might have taken out his family. But it seemed like to me, at the end of Daredevil season 2, he helps kill the hand people, but his mission was done.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, this season they didn't plan on having a Punisher season, so now they have to figure out a way to get him back in the game and make him become the Punisher. Because although he puts on the vest at the end, he's still really not the Punisher at the end of season 2.
Right.
So I think what they've done is they're going back into the well of his family being killed and it being a huge, massive cover up by the military. So now he's got to hunt the fucking military and the government's involved and all this shit.
I like it. I guess it'll start with him like as Punisher, and then you're gonna get to these flashback scenes. There may be even like whole episodes.
Overall, I liked it.
Yeah, violent, intense.
Karen Page is in it more than I thought, or at least the trailer.
You think Daredevil shows up at all?
No, I don't think so.
Just Karen Page.
They should keep it more focused on the Punisher.
Dude, I like the music. Like, it's metal. Like, this is metal. You want something metal? This is the right use of metal on a subject that he's
metal for the Punisher seems appropriate.
Holy shit. So November 17th, all that shit drops. Figure out what you're gonna do. Get your tickets for Justice League. Sit in front of the couch. It'll be interesting. One note about Netflix. We talked about how they're raising the prices. There's a report from Variety that Netflix is planning on spending $8 billion on original content in 2018, and they're planning to release 80 original films that year. Wow. Also, 80. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
I think they spent $6 billion the last year or the year before, and they've raised it to $8 billion. So this is where that $2 subscription increase is going to go.
Going to making more films.
Holy shit! So they're 8 billion, 80 films. I'm still looking forward to Bright whenever that fucking comes out.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
Remember? 90 million, and then Scorsese.
Joe from work told me to watch American Vandal.
Oh, that's really good. It's kind of a parody of all these like true crime, like Making a Murderer.
Yeah.
It's a parody of that, about this high school kid, or it's at a high school.
Drawing dicks.
Yeah, and one day all the cars in the parking lot have dicks spray painted on them. Yeah. They're trying to figure out. I've watched the first couple episodes. It's funny. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah. But Scorsese has a gangster movie coming out with De Niro, and they give him $100 million for that movie. So
holy fuck.
Yeah. Bright is $90 million. So
wow.
Netflix ain't stopping.
No, that's not. Those are good budgets.
Time soon. Okay. Let's get to some big screen trailers. Let's start with the New Mutants trailer from Fox, written and directed by Josh Boone. Well, first of all, wow. Wow. This is a very different X-Men movie trailer.
Yeah.
Right?
My friend Erwin, who's been on the show.
Erwin.
Said this, and I'm going to not quote him, but kind of paraphrase. He was like, this is kind of the advantage for Fox, is although Fox's continuity is all fucked up, and a lot of times they make bad films, they can kind of take a risk like this.
Yep.
whereas Marvel probably can't.
Yep.
And this trailer, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But I hope they're not bait and switching with this vibe, because this vibe is horror movie to a T.
No, I don't think they are. This is definitely the scariest hospital I've ever seen. First of all, just fucking what kind of fucked up hospital is this?
Right.
And the jump scares are great. It's got an amazing horror vibe. It's unlike any X-Men movie, but this is what we talked about. Disney and Marvel would never take this risk. Fox, this is their chance. Look at what they've given us already with Logan, with Deadpool, with Legion, even The Gifted. Like, all these things kind of have this cool edginess. And like, aside from Age of Apocalypse, as far as the timeline is concerned, like, I don't even care anymore. Just do what you're doing now. Keep it coming. This is coming out April 13, 2018. And I knew Maisie Williams was in this, but then when I saw it again, I was like, hey, it's Arya Stark. She's in the movie as Wolfsbane.
The thing is about this trailer is it's so different from what you would expect from a superhero movie that I think, A, the casual fan won't know this is a superhero movie.
Which could work for it.
It could work, but also, B, I don't know if they even know if this is an X-Men kind of film.
No.
It's called The New Mutants, so you might know, but the way the trailer's shot and cut, there's not much of a connection to the X-Men.
That
might hurt.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like the logo, the scratchy New Mutants way it's written. But you know what? This will pull in superhero genre fans. It'll pull into horror fans. Like, it has a bigger audience. Like, and there's crossover. But I believe he's planning to kick off a trilogy of horror movies. Josh Boone, starting with this New Mutants film. There's some interesting stuff here. New Mutants, first of all, created by Chris Claremont, Bob McLeod, 1982. But this is what Boone says. He says, we brought it to Fox as a trilogy of films, really all based on that long run by Bill Sienkiewicz, and kind of incorporate some stuff from later issues in the 80s. These are all going to be horror movies, and they're all going to be their own distinct kind of horror movie. This is certainly the rubber reality supernatural horror movie. The next one will be a completely different kind of horror movie. Our take was just to go examine the horror genre through comic book movies and make each one its own distinct sort of horror film. How awesome is that? I love that. They could do sub-genres within the horror genre and do a tribute to each of those.
I don't have any feel if it's going to be any good, but the trailer's well done, and I got to respect that they're trying something here.
Yes, there's also hints in the trailer, and he's talked about they were inspired by this storyline called the Demon Bear story, which is probably one of the best known New Mutant stories. So I was saying that the logo, the scratchy writing, like, that's very Bill Sienkiewicz. And Bill Sienkiewicz was, this was New Mutants 18 to 31, 35 to 38. So this is where there's like a demon bear. You see some scratches on the girl's face.
This movie I'm looking on Wikipedia. Great source. You should cite this in all your bibliographies, kids.
Absolutely. It's where you do your book reports.
Right. Inspired by the works of Stephen King and John Hughes. So that's two different.
Yes, they also said they drew on movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Stephen King stuff, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warrior. So, like,
but then John Hughes, that's a strange.
It's going to be like Spider-Man was inspired, Homecoming was inspired by John Hughes. I love this feel. And if they do this, like again, like Stranger Things, it's almost like this 80s horror vibe that really works, and it fits for the run of this book that they did it. So, and then, that was the Sienkiewicz came on New Mutants. It became really dark and not as comic booky, and it got kind of serious.
Like you said, ignoring Apocalypse.
Yes.
Fox has been kind of on a roll with these things. Yeah. At least with like making these things feel different and not worrying so much about continuity.
Oh, I love that each one is like, Logan's like a Western, Deadpool is your hangover comedy, this one's a horror movie, Legion is your weird sci-fi fucking mind trip. Right. Oh, so good.
And so then you got The Gifted, which is getting good reviews.
Yeah, and The Gifted is like your family drama on the run, and I'm really loving that. I love this. I'm kind of like excited that they're taking these risks and giving us something edgy, because this is the way to go. So this comes out April 13th, 2018. Deadpool 2, June 1st, 2018. X-Men Dark Phoenix, November 2nd, 2018. 3 X-Men movies in 2018 all year round. It's going to be a good year for X-Men fans.
Spectacular. Cool.
Spectacular.
I don't know what you wanted me to say.
Nothing. That's it. They're real and they're spectacular. You know what is spectacular? This last fucking trailer we're going to talk about. Holy crap. Black Panther
Geek Boner.
drops a new trailer. And again, just wowie wowa, like fucking Borat. I watched this thing a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Woo! Anthony, you started off. What do you want to talk about? Fucking this thing was amazing.
Black Panther looks awesome. It looks unlike anything Marvel's done so far. I like the fact that you feel like you've seen all of everything on Earth on Marvel.
Yes.
And now you're like, no, you haven't
What's
seen
this?
everything. Now you're seeing some Afrofuturism.
Dude, how amazing does Wakanda look? Like, I want to go there. Like, it has like a Blade Runner feel. Or
This is the thing. So that while Wakanda, and I'm going to bash on Justice League because it's just in my fucking DNA to bash on anything Zack Snyder does.
Yes.
When they do like the shots of Wakanda and they like do the close-ups, it feels lived in. It feels like a real fucking place. It doesn't feel like those movies, like those Star Wars movies in the early 2000s where
the
it was like
prequels were all green screen, and that's the same thing that's happening in Justice League. That is such a great point.
That red background,
Yes.
it doesn't feel real.
No.
But this, even though it is CGI, there are sets here, and it feels fucking real.
Yeah, that is a great comparison, and that's the problem with Snyder CG, the green screen he does. It all goes
It's
flat.
like it becomes hyper reality and like video gamey.
Yes, and where this kind of is still like you want to go here. You would think again another city in a bubble,
Another
just
city
like
in a bubble,
Wonder Woman, just like
yeah.
Inhumans too. They're kind of in a bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. First, he's got all these like bumps on his body that were kind of like giving me the heebie-jeebies. I was like, oh, what?
It's
what the
part of
fuck?
his suit. It looks like a nanotech for his suit.
Now you see him turn into a gold suit, and at first you're gonna be like, oh, they're doing the thing again.
They're doing the thing where he fights evil him.
Where the bad guy has the opposite version of his suit.
Well, let's list these. All right, so you have Iron Man fought Ironmonger.
Stane, yes, and
Hulk
Obadiah Stane,
versus what the fuck does he call him?
Abomination,
evil him.
Yeah.
Cap versus Red Skull, evil him.
Yep.
Doctor Strange versus the what's his face? Max Middleton's guy.
Oh fuck, I can't remember his name, but an evil sorcerer.
Evil sorcerer. Thor versus Loki. Evil Asgardian.
Ant-Man versus Yellow Jacket. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. They do this all the time. So that's the only drawback to this.
That got me a little bit worried, but aside from that, like, oh, the sets look amazing. The costume looks amazing. That purple shit is on him. Remember, I looked at that poster,
yeah,
and I was like, is that going to be in the movie? There's purple hue on him, and it's contrasted with the gold hue.
That's how you're going to distinguish each Black Panther.
You got to know which one. But actually, if you look closely, I saw some screenshots. Killmonger's suit looks more like a, not a panther. A leopard or a jaguar? Yeah. I forget what it is. It's a different cat.
A panther is a leopard.
Oh.
It's just
I think it's a jaguar then.
No, it's a leopard.
Oh, is a leopard?
Panthers are leopards.
Black Panther. No, but Killmonger's suit.
He's a leopard.
He's a leopard?
Well, it's the contrast of a panther.
Oh, the opposite of a panther is a leopard, but panther is a leopard.
But up there, panther panther is a leopard. It's just
I don't care.
It's just its fur is different. If you look close enough, the panther has spots too.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, really? Dude, how about him running off the side of that building and ripping the wheel off of the car? I was like, oh shit!
Geek Boner shit.
Damn,
I did see a review from Weekly Planet, which I kind of agreed with.
Yeah,
but they loved it too. But they were like, the only thing we didn't like besides he's fighting evil him, but that can be justified because Michael B. Jordan looks like he's acting his ass off.
Yeah, he looks great.
The part where like he's jumping across the buildings and like jumping up in the air.
Yeah,
kind of had a Daredevil 2003 feel where the character really doesn't feel like he has these abilities. It feels like now he's just jumping off trampolines. Or like it's just he's so springy that it's not real.
I buy it with the Panther because the suit is the fucking Panther. It's the Black Panther. Daredevil has no fucking Black Panther suit. He's just a guy, and all of a sudden you could jump 3 stories in the air. You asshole. I also you see Claw has a weapon. And did you think it was too spoilery at all? I saw somebody was like, are they showing too much in this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I love. So
I mean, you get the gist that Michael B. Jordan. As he says, wants to burn it all down, which I think he wants to become. Yes. He doesn't feel like Chadwick Boseman's character is the rightful Black Panther.
Is worthy. Yeah, and I hope there's like a Game of Thrones power struggle.
I had to look this up so we don't get called out on it. A panther is a versatile word that can refer to different leopards, jaguars, or mountain lions. It can refer to a melanistic or black cat.
Oh, so panther is like the umbrella term.
Yeah, it's basically they lose their melatonin, or I don't know, some shit.
They have vitiligo, just
it's like the
me.
opposite
Yay.
vitiligo. Yeah,
it's reverse vitiligo. Man, I wish I had reverse vitiligo. Then I'd be brown again.
They have melanism.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pigmenty thing.
Yeah, it's a pigment.
All right, there is your animal lesson for the episode.
Yeah.
I hope you learned something. This is definitely a very different looking Marvel movie.
It looks great though. I'm really excited. And what's cool about it is I'm sure they're going to have the jokes because Marvel loves to have jokes in there. But it feels different than say like a Thor Ragnarok. Like Thor Ragnarok looks like Taika Waititi funny comedy, which by the way, Thor Ragnarok 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, 100% now.
Or somewhere close to there, but it's also like a 7.9 on the actual rating, so that's good. But Black Panther feels, like I said, Afrofuturism, very cultured in steeped in African culture. So it just feels like something we haven't seen yet.
By the way, total sidebar. Do you want to go into Thor Ragnarok knowing that this is going to be the funniest Marvel movie yet? I don't know. I feel like it just all may be jokes, which may be okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm kind of worried. I'm a little worried.
I feel like that's the default review for every Marvel movie at this point. Is funniest Marvel
ever.
movie. Yes. Yeah.
Each one keeps having that. I thought that was Spider-Man Homecoming. Real quick, we got to talk about the music. I have loved the music.
The music
in
is
all
fantastic.
These trailers. The first trailer had Run the Jewels, Legend Has It, where they were like, step into the spotlight. That shit is awesome.
See, this music, again, it's subtle. It's not, I can be a Black Panther.
We are, it's not a song called, in fact, here's how much thought, check this out. Here's how much thought and subtlety went into this. The first song is a song by this guy, Vince Staples. Are you familiar with him? Vince called Staples. Bag Back. Yep. That's like the first minute. Fucking great song. I went and I looked it up on YouTube. I was like, this song rules. Once you get to the Killmonger pot, it goes to Gil Scott-Heron's The Revolution Will Not Be Televised from 1970. Now, Gil Scott-Heron was like a beat poet in the 60s. He does like a spoken word thing. That song is amazing, and it was huge part of the civil rights movement. The phrase, the revolution will not be televised, was a popular slogan in the 60s for guess who? The Black Panther Party. Fucking think that kind of thought is so cool.
Yeah, it's great. The music's been great on both of these. It feels like Coogler and everybody that's involved with this is just fully embracing everything about being black and being African American and being African and just taking all of that and putting just a shit ton of culture in this.
Yes, oh man, it's so exciting to see this and to see it with such amazing production and this whole team behind it. Did you see? I gotta steal this joke from the internet. Did you see that new poster, the Black Panther poster?
Yeah, where it's like Bilbo Baggins and whatever the fuck his name is.
They're like the only two white guys on this poster are Bilbo and
Gollum.
Gollum. Yeah. He goes, they got the token white guys on here. I was like, okay, you win. You win for that one. That's not my joke, but it's pretty fucking funny.
There was that. I also saw someone make a joke that when is the extreme right going to complain that there's no White Panther in this?
Where's the White Panther? Oh shit, that's a good one too. Oh, you can't have a White Panther. I'm not watching this. What about the rest of us? Yeah, how about every other movie? You fuck.
What about us though?
What about us? When are we finally going to get our White Panther movie?
It looks good. I also have to throw in just a quick thing. Black Panther's handshake with his sister Shuri.
Yes.
Again, another just small moment, but I'm like, wow, I like those. I like that. I like their little thing going on there.
Apparently, Shuri made all the tech.
Yeah, apparently she's
like tech girl.
Just as smart, if not smarter, than Tony Stark when it comes to tech.
Yes, which is crazy. And that scene where the sky's purple and there's a tree and he's wearing white, that kind of looks like Lion King. That's that. I guess that's the mystical realm where, like, when they die, they go there and you could be resurrected.
Called, yeah.
I read it somewhere. I can't. Something like that.
Well, the purple stuff was like relatively new. I think that might be like when he absorbs when you
get to the Black Panther.
Yeah, or like when he absorbs the past powers of all the other Black Panthers, and he becomes the king of the dead.
Yes, all the spirits live in this purple. It looks gorgeous. Like the colors, the set. There's that one shot of this car that's all made of lights and shit that she's driving. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Also, how about Michael B. Jordan? I guess this is also like the comics. If you notice, he has an American accent. So clearly he was like exiled when he was a kid, didn't grow up there, and came back and wants the throne. Oh, fucking love it.
Yeah,
love the music. Here's a job Ryan Coogler won't have, is directing the sequel to Creed, because guess who's directing it? Sylvester Stallone!
Oh, shit.
White man takes a black man's job. Why is anybody upset about this? I think I'm outraged. We need to start a petition. How dare he? That's exciting.
I think he's very capable. Rocky Balboa was good.
Yeah.
Rocky
he
was
directed
good.
like 4 of those, I think.
No, he did a couple.
Yeah.
They're okay. I mean, Creed was fantastic. I don't know if you've seen Creed.
No, you know what? I still haven't seen it,
Very
but
good.
I'm excited that Stallone is stepping behind the camera to do like another Rocky
I'd be
movie.
more excited if Coogler was there.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, but Stallone's not a bad. Stallone was great in it too.
I got to see it still.
Creed is great.
I have not. Last thing I want to mention before we wrap up.
You don't want to see Killmonger and Valkyrie hook up?
Oh shit! That's what happens in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tessa Thompson. They're both. Oh right. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, I gotta check it out. There's so many things I gotta watch.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to mention is this article about Marvel Studios and how they deal with new directors that may or may not be very familiar with like intense CGI. All of a sudden, we've seen this happen with other studios, and things not go down well, where you get these up and coming guys, but they don't know how to handle all this tech. Well, apparently Marvel has like a crash course for new directors that helps get them up to speed. Visual effects supervisor Theo Bialik, who is the supervisor in Spider-Man Homecoming, talks about what they do. He's like, they kind of get a crash course on how you do these shots. They also quickly learn that in the art of visual effects, that everything goes by in an exponential curve. You don't really see a linear progress on a film. For visual effects, it's very much a lot of overhead. Days go slow, and they ramp up rapidly at the end of the show. So it takes a little while for someone who's not familiar with it to get comfortable with the idea that you don't see a lot of progress across all the shots until you sort of figure out what the key shots are. I mean, this is so smart, and this is why, like, they get these guys, like the Russo brothers and these TV guys, and these guys can deliver amazing product without minimal drama, like some other places and some other movies.
I don't really have much of a comment. I'm not surprised they have a crash course, because they hire a lot of small budget directors, and it's their first foray into big budget movies, so.
It's just smart. It's almost like they're, it's going to like filmmaking school in a way, and you're getting paid and you get a gig and you're learning, because then you could take that and take that experience and move on pretty quickly. Like, I think that's great that they do this. One more quote in here, which I thought was interesting, was he talks about the difference between working with Sony and working with Marvel and Sony.
Oh, okay.
Right? He says the only real difference that in the previous Spider-Man films, Sony had been a primary vendor doing the bulk of the shots, 2,000 shots or something. This film, the way Marvel likes to operate is they like to split it up between multiple vendors and allows you to kind of work on things more spread out, more sequences all at the same time. They have more people working on it, and it also allows for a shorter production cycle. So that was different, working on a smaller amount, but over a much shorter amount of time. So probably the same amount of stress, but just get a feel to it. So I think it's very telling. It's very interesting, the differences.
Yeah, I don't got much for that.
Okay, well, that's it. That's it for the news, everybody. We're going to take a quick break, play some promos of some indie shows you should check out, and we will be right back with Game of Thrones Season 5. You got to take a potty break?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Whoa, what the fuck is that? That's my phone ringing, but that's not my ringtone. I'm going to see who it is. Hello?
Hey, Imran, it's David from A Place to Hang Your Cape.
David Malofsky, what's up? How's it going? This is weird. You're calling me. Is everything okay?
Yeah, have you seen Scott recently?
Well, yeah, he's about like 5'8", wears blonde hair, wears 3D glasses. I've seen him. I know what he looks like.
Yeah, but have you seen him like this week?
Oh, have I seen him? No, he lives in another country, David. You're calling America. The man lives on the same land you do.
Well, have you heard from him or anything? Like he's kind of gone missing, and
what?
I'm just trying everyone.
Wow, not to demean this whole important situation by playing a sound effect that says how I feel, but
oh shit,
that's crazy. Have you checked the 3D glasses stores? It's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, a 3D glasses store. Well, I might check there next, but
have there ever been reports of anyone smashing a window in the Disney store? You might want to check those out too.
Yeah, I actually did phone the local Disney store. They confirmed that all of their windows are not smashed.
That's odd.
So yeah, even more of a mystery. And I called up in Edinburgh as well, so a little weird. Yeah, I've even tried calling some other podcasts he's been on, and look, I'm sort of at my wit's end, but there's this old podcasting myth that I've heard that if your host goes missing, you can get everyone to believe, then maybe he'll come back.
Sounds like a bunch of horse shit, David.
The way you show that you believe is you listen in to our Halloween special coming out October 31st. And if you can get as many listeners out there to help us, and if they can believe in us and believe in Scott, then maybe, just maybe, he'll come home safe.
Hope in Scott and believe him to come back safe. Well, it sounds like a bunch of new age bullshit, but you know what? I'll try it. What do we got to lose? I love the poor bastard. I've heard him. He has a lot of enemies if you listen to his rants. So this is very disconcerting.
Well, I'm just going to give a shout out to all you listeners out there. If you can please help us save our Scott and listen in next week on October 31st on Halloween. And help us bring him back, because I'm worried about the little fella.
Wow, this is spooky. Definitely, I'm going to check into that Halloween episode. #SOS, everyone. Save our Scott. Let's bring him back alive. I believe, David. I believe.
Thanks, Imran. It means a lot.
I hope you find him.
Me too. All right, I'm going to go see if maybe he's vandalizing some Batmobiles outside. Let's see.
That's also possible. Yes, check the 3D glasses stores.
Yes.
The Sunglass Hut that just sells 3D glasses. I don't know why. It's a very weird kiosk in the mall.
Well, have a good rest of the show, Imran. Bye, guys.
Thanks, David. Good luck, and we'll be checking out your Halloween episode. That was a weird call. Anyways, back to the show.
And
Dude, just as we took a potty break and I was going to go to pee, my fucking phone rang.
Okay.
With a weird ringtone that's not on my phone, first of all. It came through the computer also, and it was David Malofsky from the UK, from A Place to Hang Your Cape.
The fuck's he want?
I don't know how he knew we were recording. Check this out. Turns out, Scott Meridew, host of Podcapers, their official podcast, A Place to Hang Your Cape, he's missing.
Missing?
oh shit.
He's asked me if I knew where Scott went. He vanished. I told David, have you checked all the kiosks at the mall that sell 3D glasses? Maybe he's there buying new 3D glasses. You know how much he loves 3D glasses, but he just vanished. So I guess we'll
Send
have
out an SOS.
I'll put out an APB. I'll call the police. Look, I'll leave the call in for the listener. They'll have already heard it. It was really weird. And I guess, you know what? We'll just have to listen to Podcapers because, of course, when a person goes missing, a podcast is the best way to get up to speed, real-time updates.
Real-time podcast. That's where it's at.
That's how. So, missing person, if you've seen Scott Meridew, I really love that exasperated British bastard. I hope he's okay.
I hope so, too.
Anyways, listener, I want you to know we got a fan club. And you should join the fan club. Thanks for listening. Moving on. Fuck Scott. He's missing. We'll find him. I'm sure he'll turn up. We'll let you know what happens. If you've been enjoying the show and you want more show and you want to help support the show and keep it going, help us cover some of the maintenance, the overhead, join our fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Anthony, last week you weren't here. We got another super patron joining Joe Henry. John Seifert just signed up. That means he's going to get to come on the show. We're all going to get to meet. He's a truck driver. He's also very funny.
I hope he's normal.
great sense of humor. We'll see once we hear his voice. Joe Henry was normal.
Joe Henry was until we found out he had vitiligo on his dick.
He did have vitiligo dick, but that's okay. I can relate. That's fine. Listen, here's what you get. It's as little as $1 a month, listener. You are going to get.
You have a fucking dollar, dude.
Yes, just don't buy that 1/2 cup of coffee. Starbucks is $3, $1. You don't need fucking 7 coffees.
You have $1.
You have it on you right now. I can hear the change jingling in your pocket. And when you do sign up.
In your asshole.
It's in your puckering. Do they have opinions there too?
Well, not if you have change there. It's kind of blocked.
I will take your fucking asshole change. We'll take your shitty change. I believe Patreon accepts all sorts of currency. But when you sign up, you will get access to an exclusive podcast feed that has hours and hours of bonus content, post shows, instant reactions, whole episodes. It's growing every week. Some of it gets really weird. Last week's post show, Anthony, was about as long as the show in the feed. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys talked a lot.
We went for a while. So there's like another hour plus of content right there. If you choose to listen to it or not.
Don't you guys have lives?
No, apparently not. Because Rugg said he had to go and then he just kept talking and we just kept shooting the shit. It was great. It was a great conversation. This week though, Anthony, I have a ghost story to share in the post.
Okay.
I had a paranormal experience this week, a pretty convincing paranormal experience that I will share with our Patreon listeners in the post show. So, listener.
No, I really don't believe in ghosts, so you have to convince me.
This may flip you. But okay. Listener, if you like that kind of stuff, yes, just sign up. It's $1 a month. You will hear this ghost show, and I'm telling you, it will give you the chills. It's crazy. All right, let's get to the Game of Thrones. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert for something that's like 3 years old.
Spoiler alert.
I'm sure like the whole world is I'm up to anyways, season 5. If you're a new listener, this is what's been going on. We just recently decided finally after tons of prodding and everyone saying you really need to watch this, started watching Game of Thrones. And we are not sorry. I'll tell you that right now. Probably one of the best decisions you could make. So we've been going season by season review. I finished season 5. Anthony, where you at?
I'm finished.
Oh my God.
I've been finished for like 2 weeks now.
Am I wrong? Did you say you went back and started it over?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going as hardcore, but I did go back and start watching some of the first few episodes again because it is quite fulfilling to watch and see how the groundwork they laid in those first couple episodes.
So high rewatch value after going through it?
Oh,
wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. All right, but for now, we're just going to talk about the 5th season. The last thing I saw that happened, Jon Snow stabbed by his Night's Watch. Even little Ollie.
Oh, shit.
Who I thought they were buddies. But is he really dead? This is Game of Thrones. Things could happen. Melisandre brings people back.
I mean, no one's ever really come. Well, yeah, that's true.
It's Jon Snow.
You end with Jon Snow dying.
That's the last thing that happened.
So you're questioning if he's dead?
I don't know. I think that I know he's a huge character. I may know that maybe he's not dead just from like periphery, not looking at articles in the past. I don't know. I'm hoping he's not because I love the Jon Snow, but wow, what a shocking last thing to see at the end of season 5. So I think let's start there.
Do you think they're justified in killing him?
A little bit, yes. Let's talk about how this happened. Let's start at what happens at the Wall this season.
At the Wall? Oh,
yes.
Well, Jon Snow makes a pact with the wildlings to get him across because he wants a truce because he knows he's going to need them.
And dude, really, this whole time I kind of empathize with the wildlings. I love how Jon Snow is like he's in both camps, but all Mance said he wanted, he's like, we just want to be the other side of the wall, so when these motherfucking White Walkers show up, we don't get slaughtered. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, that's all they want. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
They are people. And Jon Snow keeps reminding them, look, there's women there. There's children. They are people. We know some, like Osha, as beloved characters. You know, I loved in the beginning of the season, Stannis Baratheon's burning Mance Rayder alive. And remember, Jon shows him mercy and takes him out with an arrow.
Yeah.
That shows you his character.
Mance Rayder is the king beyond the wall, and he'll never bend the knee. The free folk will never bend the knee.
He's like, we don't do that.
No.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
Baratheon is like, look, when you're in the presence of a king, you should kneel. He's like, no, we don't do that. And then he becomes commander of the Night's Watch, and it's not a unanimous vote. Not everybody was happy with him being commander of the Night's Watch.
No, but the deciding vote is Mr. Aegon Targaryen.
Who later dies.
Aemon Targaryen.
Aemon.
Who dies, yes.
But he's kind of been like advising them the whole time because the Targaryens are amazing strategists, clearly.
Yeah.
But he does get the wildlings over the wall. Now, before they kill him, this all culminates in episode 8. Holy crap. First of all,
is one of the best episodes.
Before I get to Hardhome, this season overall was very interesting because like for the first like 2/3 of it, I was like, this is very transition-y. This is because, season 4 ended with the death of Tywin Lannister and things are kind of all up in the air and there was a lot of pieces moving. I felt like it was a lot of transition-y setting up, but then it ends. Oh, the payoff is amazing. See, episodes 8, 9, and 10 are so fucking good. And there's so many things that happen.
Well, the best thing about Hardhome, jump into that, is you don't realize that that's going to happen. At first, it builds to him going to Hardhome, Jon Snow, and wanting to make a truce with the wildlings, and you think that's just going to be it. But then all of a sudden, some shit goes down.
Most of the
nowhere.
episode is like him and Tormund trying to convince them.
How much do you like Tormund?
I really like I like Tormund. I think he's a good leader. Does he get killed?
No, not at the end of the season.
No, he still survives. Yeah. No, I think he's
I like the part where like the Bones guy's like, I bet you suck his dick now, and then Tormund just fucking kills him. And he's like, grab the others, let's talk.
Yes, that was Rattlesnake. I love Rattlesnake's mask. Like the costumes are great. Yeah. And so most of this episode. And then, they get all their boats. They're starting ferrying out. Everyone's agreeing that all the women and
some
children.
Some of them agreed.
Well, it seemed like the majority of them. There was some people who went back inside the castle, but they're getting on the little boats to get to the big boats. Or it's like
it's just their camp.
Oh, it's the camp wall or whatever. And they're ferrying them to their boats, and all of a sudden you start to see weird things happen. There's like a
mini avalanche.
There's like an avalanche. Then you see these horse riders on top in silhouette, and then you see fucking thousands of Walking Dead just leap off what is it, like a 200-foot cliff and come slamming down, and then they get up and keep running and attacking, and I was like,
oh shit,
holy crap.
Well, I love that they're like,
oh shit,
they're like busting through the wall, and they're just like, they're not like walking, like they shit on The Walking Dead. I mean, Walking Dead's great. They have in terms of like their zombies look fucking amazing, but these whites, as they're called here, I mean, they're fast and they're fucking relentless, and
they have swords and weapons.
They have swords and they pick at a fucking hole and like will just climb through the hole until they can get everyone through. They are relentless.
They clearly have one thing in mind. And I mean, they're not just the dead. They are fast-moving dead with weapons. And that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, shit, dude, The Walking Dead's got nothing on this. I thought those walker attacks were great. Holy crap, this is unbelievable. And then you see they get away. A lot of them die. And you see the Night King come down and kind of just stare down Jon Snow on the boat.
That scene where they're staring each other down, Jon Snow and the Night King is amazing.
And then he just reaches his hands out and turns them up, and all the dead stand up.
That's the craziest part is the army grows every time they kill people.
This is what's so great about this show is like how you learn a little by little about the Night King, the White Walkers, what their powers are. Like now we know. Imagine if they do make it over the wall, even if they kill, everyone dies, the army will double in size. Like you can't stop them.
Yeah, they're a big threat.
His army is now huge. Everyone who died is now under his control. I was like, holy shit, this is not going to end well. How do you stop something like this? You need lots of dragon glass. They got to get the dragon glass.
Or you learn also Valyrian steel.
Oh, Valyrian steel, yes, because every other steel weapon was shattering, and then his sword. What was the name of his sword? I can't remember.
Longclaw.
Longclaw, made of Valyrian steel, slices right through them and shatters them.
Shatters a White Walker.
Look, I love how you learn just a little bit at a time about the big overarching villain.
Hardhome. So, let me ask you this: Hardhome, is it? All right, I'll rank these moments or these battles. Is it better than Battle at Castle Black or Battle at Blackwater?
I think it is better than Blackwater.
Okay, how about better than Castle Black?
That one was pretty.
That one's pretty good too.
The wall. You mean that's the one at the wall,
That's
right?
the one where they're getting attacked at the wall on both sides.
I don't know. I would give it to the Castle Black because it had mammoths and giants.
Yeah.
And
This one had a giant.
This one did have a giant
And White Walker.
And it had White Walkers. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. This one was amazing. Just the scale of it again. It got a little bit bigger and them flying.
Very movie quality.
Oh my God! Everyone is a fucking movie, and I know as it moves on, the seasons they get longer, and each one becomes like a movie.
Don't you worry. It gets better.
Holy shit! All right, where should we go to? You want to talk about King's Landing or Marine or Winterfell?
No, wherever you want. I'm all caught up. I know what we're talking about. So.
King's Landing. Storyline ends with the downfall of Cersei Lannister.
Shame.
You know what? I remember when these memes came out when this aired, and I was like, "What is all this shit with this woman saying shame?"
You know that Lena Headey that was a body double.
I was disappointed when you told me that was a body double because I was like, "Wow, she got a pretty good body." But
apparently in the books, her character. So her character is, and I haven't read the books. This is all me reading of the books.
Yeah.
Her character is a very gorgeous lady, just kind of like in the show.
Yeah.
But what's really embarrassing about her walking naked through the castle or King's Landing is when she takes off her clothes, her body is like she's older, so she's like in her 40s, so her body's not as tight as it used to be, and she's had 3 kids. So it's very shameful because she has this image of being this beautiful lady, and then she takes off her clothes and she's a 40-year-old woman.
Well, that's how it's described in the book.
Yeah, she's her body's not as fit as it used to be.
So it's even more like exposing the truth to the people.
Right.
And
so they took that away and gave her a really nice body.
So you know what was funny is like they cut her hair and people started throwing shit at her and
people were showing their dicks to her too.
They were flashing her. They're like, "Hey, suck this cock, Cersei." But I'm watching this and it's humiliating. It's horrible for her. But I was like, you know what? You're getting off pretty easy on this show. The other things I've seen people go through, I would do this all day long. But
there is one point where I'm watching her walk through the streets and her feet are bleeding.
Yeah.
And like she's fucking like breaking down. And I'm like, I'm almost like, oh, I kind of feel bad for her. But then I'm like, but it's fucking Cersei.
It's Cersei. It was almost like Jesus walking through Nazareth kind of moment where he stumbles and they're whipping him and throwing rocks at him. But it's Cersei Lannister. But I was like, you're getting off easy, bitch. Look, people out there, do you know what else is going on in this show? If all you have to do is walk down the street naked and get a little bloody feet, you'll be fine. I love that shot because the mountain, he saves the mountain with a transfusion.
Yeah, some little weird black magic thing going on.
He looks a little bit like a zombie, and he picks her up. And that last look you see on her face is I'm gonna fucking get you. I'm gonna fucking get you. But I love how this happened. This is great political drama. You know, Tommen marries Queen Marjorie, and Marjorie finally becomes the queen.
It's very reminiscent of like when the Catholic Church at one time was just judge, jury, and executioner, and just running around deciding people's fates and testing and punishing people.
We meet the religious nuts and the High Sparrow.
The High Sparrow.
Who's just like some hippie dude who lives in the alley. He's like, I don't even like that name.
How much? Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How much do you dislike the High Sparrow?
Oh, now I hate them. They're fucking religious nuts.
But
yeah,
isn't this is the greatness of the show? The High Sparrow is punishing Cersei Lannister, who is a fucking terrible human. He's doing everything that she deserves to be getting.
That is true.
But you dislike the High Sparrow.
Yeah, because they are so hardcore. And they're
fundamentalists.
They're fundamentalists. They're fundamentalists fighting against the crown. And she thought she could use them because she was threatened by the Tyrells. She does get Marjorie and Loras arrested for like homosexuality and other things. And then Lancel Lannister, we haven't seen him in like three seasons.
Yeah.
Fucking Lancel, who was
last time you saw him, he was advising Tyrion because he got blackmailed into it, and he was banging Cersei.
He was banging Cersei. He had a long bob cut. He was very effeminate looking, and now he's got like a Marilyn Manson fucking engraved tattoo on his forehead. He tells the High Sparrow everything about Cersei, and she gets arrested, and this was her comeuppance. Yeah, that's pretty conflicting. That's a good point. Like. Yeah. You hate the religious nuts, but she's getting what she deserved, and now I can't wait to see her fucking revenge on just either side gets out of control unchecked. Now the religious nuts are ruling everything. That was crazy. That was good. Let's move on to Marine and talk about what happened over in Essos. And we see towns like Pentos.
Pentos, so exciting.
Because Tyrion and Varys end up in Pentos.
Yeah.
And then they run into Jorah Mormont, who kidnaps Tyrion.
Yeah.
And takes him to the queen. And at first I was like, wait, is he going to Cersei? But then he's like, no, I'm taking into Queen Daenerys because he's still trying to get back in her good graces. I love when Tyrion sees the dragon, too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's in awe of the dragon.
Yeah. He's like, whoa.
Do you watch the
afterwards?
Yeah, yes. Those are really good, too.
Yeah.
Those help you really get into the minds of what's going on. And that's basically, they were like, that's the point where Tyrion Lannister's like, okay, I gotta fucking meet this girl.
Yeah, he's starting to believe because I don't think
dragon.
He's
wasn't
heard these dragon stories.
Yeah.
Never believed them.
Well, at the beginning, he was, if you remember in season 1, he was very skeptical of like the White Walkers and anything mystical.
Yeah, I love how in the beginning they're almost like children's stories to like scare kids, you know. But this shit is real.
But it's real.
Again, it's always exciting in this show when two characters who have never met for seasons meet, and Mormont is outed. He kills everyone to get to her, and she's like, "Get him out of my sight!" And he's like, "I brought a gift." And out walks Tyrion. He's like, "I'm Tyrion Lannister," and she's like, "What the fuck?" The look on her face is great. And those two, I was like, these two make a fucking great team.
Yeah.
With him advising and her using her power.
Are they at the point now where he's advising her?
Yeah, he was he's like, you can kill me or you can have me advise you. And she decided to have her advise him because we saw how much trouble she's having with all the freed slaves and how. Because we also introduced the Sons of the Harpy, who are another like fundamentalist group. They're killing everybody in fucking Marine.
They're basically like your like when government goes awry.
They're your
really
anarchists.
Quickly.
Yeah,
they're not even anarchists. They're your basically your terrorists or whatever. I don't know what you would call them.
Yes.
That when government goes away and at the snap of a finger, this shit happens.
It's like a militia.
Yeah.
It's like an independent militia that rises up. It takes the power vacuum. They kill fucking Barristan Selmy. He dies. I was kind of sad.
They're using guerrilla tactics.
Yes.
So that's another thing too that's kind of interesting is
they were mixed into the crowd.
The Unsullied are very trained in the art of war and like formations and all this.
But it's obvious.
But the Sons of Harpy are they're using it's like Viet Cong against American soldiers.
Absolutely. The Unsullied are obvious marching through the streets. There's no subtlety. You know they're coming.
Right.
And these fucking Sons of the Harpy, do you notice they're dressed like the Masters? They wear the Masters' colors. You don't know who they are. They're mixed in, and
you'll find out who they are later.
Oh, really? I was thinking it's like the Viet Cong. I was about to say that. It's like the VCs of Vietnam.
It's George R.R. Martin and now the D&D, David and DD, whatever. The other guy are expert at taking little things from history and incorporating it into the show.
It's so well done. So this culminates to episode 9. Again, we know episode 9 was a big thing, but it wasn't like as big as the other episode 9s.
Hard Home was the big one.
They spread it out. Yeah, I would say even 10 shit happened, 9 big shit happened, 8 big shit happened. But the Sons of the Harpy, they're at the gladiator. She had to reinstate the gladiator battles, which she had stopped, and everyone's like, look, people need something to do, and at least let the free people fight. So the Sons of the Harpy surround them, and who comes to save Daenerys? Fucking Drogon. Drogon, however you say his name. The third dragon that was not, she didn't know where he was. He was acting up, burning kids and goats. Yeah. But she has a connection. Like he knew she was in trouble.
Yeah, it's one of her kids. She's the mother of dragons. She's the breaker of change. Daenerys Stormborn. House Targaryen.
I was literally like, she's riding the fucking dragon. Geek boner. The CGI was a little bit iffy for a second there.
Yeah, that one, it is a little iffy.
Yeah, when she gets on him.
It's a little iffy, but it gets better, I'll tell you that.
I was fine. It didn't bother me.
No.
And then she lands and is taken by the Dothraki in the next episode.
Yep, she's been kidnapped by but you notice she drops a ring or a coin or something.
As a trail. Yep. I thought like if someone's looking for her, they're gonna find this. I thought she didn't want them to know who she was, but they know who she is. She was married to fucking Khal Drogo. Oh boy. Leaving Tyrion and Varys in charge of Marine, which that's pretty cool too. I can't wait to see what they do.
Tyrion and Varys. Yeah. What do you think of Varys? Because I'm sure you probably didn't like him in the first season.
Oh, I don't know. This guy, he's back and forth, but I kind of felt bad for him, and I was kind of on the side by the end of this because he was kind of like sent away and ostracized.
He's a eunuch.
He
wants a good queen.
Oh, that's right. They keep mentioning like these, like just like what's his name, Grey Worm. These eunuchs still have.
Can you trust Varys?
You can never trust Varys, and you can never trust Littlefinger. I do like that Mormont, after being exiled twice, is like now back in under her command because she has no one else. Everybody else is dead.
How does it end with her and Mormont?
Well, he shows up and he starts protecting her from the Sons of the Harpy. You remember?
Yeah.
He comes back again somehow, and they have a moment. And they smile, kind of like, "Okay, you're cool again." But when then the dragon took Daenerys, if I was like Mormont and Tyrion, I would have been like, "Hey, that's great. You're gonna come back to get us? Where you going?"
Yeah, that was a little weird. I was like,
"Should we?
What about
should we meet you
them?
somewhere? Yeah, where? You're gonna come back? Should we just wait here? So we meet you? Okay, bye. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry, you give a fuck about the rest of them, but they're fine."
You mentioned Littlefinger. Let's go to Winterfell.
Winterfell, where Littlefinger, Sansa Stark, Brienne, and Podrick return to Winterfell, because it is being run by House Bolton at the moment, and Sansa is forced to marry fucking Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah, because they got to get a Stark in there so that the North follows them.
Cannot catch a fucking break.
Yeah, I didn't like this plot a lot. Not because of how uncomfortable it got, but because prior to this, they had Littlefinger was like, "I'm taking you to Winterfell. Now use your power," and it was like almost like she's going to kind of take control of herself, of her.
I thought she had gotten smart. She got street smart.
Yeah, and kind of manipulate things to her way, but
no,
she's just another victim at this.
And boy, is she a victim. Ramsay just like emotionally tortures her. And so there's a lot of deflowering physically. There's a lot of deaths of virginities this season also. One being Sansa Stark. Ramsay fucking straight up rapes her and he makes Theon watch.
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
What'd you think of that? Was the rape uncomfortable?
It was a little bit. I was like, my mouth was open. I was like, holy fuck, this guy. I mean, I'm not surprised, but whoa, that was just cruel punishment for the Sansa. And I have a line. The line he says, Ramsay says to Reek right before he does that. So fucking early. He goes, "You've known Sansa. She was a girl. Now watch her become a woman." I was like, oh, fuck this guy. This fucking guy.
Let me ask you this now. I've asked you this off air, but
yeah,
I got to get you on air saying it. So at this point, you're seeing Ramsay Bolton just being a complete fucking asshole and like a monster.
Yes.
Who do you dislike more? Or who do you think is worse? Joffrey Baratheon, aka Joffrey Lannister, or Ramsay Bolton?
That's a very interesting question. Now, while Joffrey just had a punchable face, like even before he said a word, you're like, I don't like this guy's face. He has the disadvantage of being a kid and being a incest kid. So you almost can't blame. You have to blame his parents. Like definitely, Cersei fucked him up. You almost can't blame him for being that fucked up because he doesn't know any better. But Ramsay's not a bastard. I mean, Ramsay's not an incest kid. He is a bastard.
He's a bastard.
He's an adult. He's smart. He is more like a serial killer, like Jeffrey Dahmer type, just like an evil fuck who gets joy out of pain and torture and just being
he loves feeding people to dogs.
He loves, the fact that he loves to flay people, like that's his go-to move.
If you piss him off, like there's one episode where he has one of his girls being chased and hunted by dogs.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. They fucking shoot her. That's how we meet him, I think.
No, that's like part in like the middle of where you're getting to.
Oh my God.
He had this girl that he's always liked, but now he doesn't like her and he has her get chased by dogs.
And that girl Miranda like washes the dye out of Sansa's hair to make it orange, and she's like, just don't bore him. Trust me. You don't want to bore him. Bad things happen when you bore him. Miranda, who gets killed by Reek and Sansa as they escape during...
That's a great moment.
During this
Reek
the
finally
battle.
Breaks out of his spell.
Dude, you don't know how long I've been rooting for fucking Theon to come back.
Did you ever think he would come back?
No, I didn't.
I thought he was broke at
What?
that point.
I thought he was completely broke, but look, and also Sansa finds out from him that Bran and Rickon are still alive. You start to see, towards the end, you start to see hints of him coming back, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, come back to us, Theon. You could do it. Because I want to see him do even more horrible things back to Ramsay. I hope there is some kind of confrontation. I want him.
It's nice to see the Starks finally catch a little bit of a break,
And
even if
he
it's
is-
like the most minor break ever.
And he's only Stark by association, but she's a Stark. But yes, the Starks have been being shit upon since the end of season 1. And that shit was great. So that moment at the end of the battle kind of ties into what was happening in the north with Stannis and Melisandre.
Yeah.
Fucking Melisandre, dude. Nothing she's done has actually worked so
She's
far.
looking for the prince that was promised, and she thinks it's Stannis.
So you told me that's an important phrase, the prince that was promised.
Yeah.
We've seen her take blood from leeches, burn the king's blood, his relatives with the usurpers' names, and that have a kind of effect. Stannis is all into Melisandre. Whatever she wants, he will do. What does she
He
want?
believes he's Jesus, basically.
He believes he is the savior. This is his birthright. And what does she want him to do? She's like, your daughter also has king's blood.
Right. And up to this point, Melisandre was like, had suggested his daughter, and he's like, get the fuck
He's
away
like,
from me.
No, he's like, you are insane. Because
we are at such a desperate point now
Yes.
in their survival, because they're stupidly, Stannis thinks he's Jesus, so he thinks this is his divine right. So he is marching an army full of people
towards Winterfell
in the middle of the winter.
In the middle of a horrible winter, and they're stuck where they are because they can't even get
most
through.
of the people don't believe in him either.
No, they don't. They're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Now, Shireen, we've seen loving moments with Davos. She taught Davos how to read. She has a little bit of the dragon scale, but it didn't completely grayscale, which creeps me out. When Tyrion got attacked by those grayscale, I was like extreme leprosy. Like, whoa, that gave me the heebie-jeebies. But you feel bad for this girl because they've kept her locked up. Her mother seems like just an evil fucking monster.
She hates her. Well, she hates her because she's not a son. She couldn't provide Stannis a boy.
And everyone wants is to become fucking king all the time in this show. And dude, they burn Shireen alive.
Oh shit.
With the parents watching and the screams, and I was like, this is really, really uncomfortable. What she's screaming, why, mommy, daddy, why are you doing this? And they're just standing there watching. Apparently, this got a lot of Game of Thrones fans pissed off. It seemed unnecessarily cruel because this is not in the book. It's what I found.
What's that? When he burns
burning Shireen alive.
Yeah, that was a very. I looked this up. This was a very controversial moment in the Game of Thrones.
God, it was just.
It was very uncomfortable to watch.
There is nothing that's off limits.
No,
in
this
show.
is when you realize. I mean, if you didn't realize it in the second season or the first season when they're killing babies, I mean, burning a little girl alive, and you can hear her screaming.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad.
Dude, and what makes it even more tragic is that it does nothing. The next day, half of his force, the ones with all the horses, take off.
Well, they're the ones that were bought, so they don't give a fuck.
They're out. The other half takes off. His wife hangs herself.
Yeah.
He still continues the attack on Winterfell and gets slaughtered.
Yeah.
And then Brienne stumbles upon Stannis and finally gets revenge for Renly's death and puts Stannis down. The whole Baratheon, that clan goes down super tragically.
That is one of those classic cases.
Shit.
It's happened in history, too, when someone believes they're a god king and invulnerable to anything, and he's not thinking rational thoughts anymore. He's not thinking strategically anymore. No. He's just following some sort of divine right that's been spoken to him, and he's not thinking strategically, and he's losing the support of his army, and he's
putting everyone in danger.
Putting everyone in danger, and he's fighting not with his brains, but with his heart, and that's what happens.
Sacrifices his family. Doesn't give a fuck.
He's losing the Game of Thrones. He's lost sight of the Game of Thrones.
He absolutely lost the whole game because he's dead.
Well, not only that, but he was losing it by just the fact that he believed that it was his right to be king.
That I'm just going to march there and get it, and this fucking Melisandre witch is going to help me. And by the way, she just takes off. She's like, I'm out.
The downfall is not only marching them in the storm, but then killing his daughter and having it
in front of while making everybody watch too. Dude, that was fucking disturbing. What's the phrase? What is it that she's looking for?
Prince that was promised.
The prince that was promised. promised. Not the artist formerly known as Prince that was
No,
promised.
not that. No, he's not been promised. I think
He should have been promised.
Prince that was promised, the one who was promised, something like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna be paying attention for those buzzwords. Okay, let's move.
Azur Ahai.
Oh, that's the words.
Yeah.
The prince that was promised. I know a friend of mine's named Azar. He's not no relation.
Okay.
I don't know. He's a Muslim stand-up comic. Okay, let's move on to Bravos.
Okay.
Hey, welcome to Bravos.
Bravos.
We got oysters. We got pretty
Bravos.
women. How are you doing?
Bravos was supposed to be what city in Italy is it where they have the canals and all that stuff?
Venice.
Venice, yeah. It's supposed to feel like Venice.
Dude, the shots of like Bravos when they sail through the legs of the statue is so cool because that reminds me of like I think it was like Ulysses or the Odyssey where there was Bravos is such a great city like and it also reminds me a lot of like Morocco and Tunisia and these
There's
fun
a lot
towns.
of that influence too.
Yeah, so
Essos is very Africa, Middle
East combination and where
Yeah.
the rest is like the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
Westeros. So Bravos is where Arya was headed at the end of last season, all by herself, looking for the faceless man. And
She wants to be a faceless man.
she finds Jaqen and he's training her in the art of being nobody. She sheds her clothes. She's like, girl must lose all belongings. I love how he talks still. Man has no honor. And she throws away her clothes and she can't throw away Needle.
Girl has
a
no
little
name.
sword. Girl has no name. Girl has no face. She hides Needle. So she hasn't fully shed Arya, and this causes more problems because she's supposed to kill. She's on a mission. Like he's giving her. There's a room with faces.
Yeah.
That room is fucking freaky as shit.
Yeah,
and
all
people
those
go
faces.
there to die.
They
and she
die
helped.
there and they take their fucking
And
face.
they take their face.
Yeah.
That's how. That room was creepy. I love
the
that.
faceless god.
Yeah, it's all faces. And is Arya ready? Well, maybe not, because while she's setting up this whole sting on the guy who buys oysters to kill him, she sees Meryn Trant,
Yeah.
who's on her list. It's a guy from the list.
Yeah, she's gonna cross someone off the list.
She's like, fuck this. I could take this guy out. And she promptly does. How does she kill him? She gets him.
Oh, it's fucking brutal. I watched it. I couldn't watch it again.
I forgot.
So she disguises herself as a little girl because
Right.
Meryn Trant apparently is
Oh,
another
that's
disgusting
right.
human that
Yes.
gets off on beating little girls.
He was looking for, he's picking girls and he's like, too old.
Too
And
old.
he keeps going, too old.
Yeah, and he's
And he ends up with 3 like really teeny looking girls.
and he's fucking beating the shit
whipping
out
them.
of them.
Yes.
And Arya is taking a face, and now she's a little girl, and she proceeds to fucking torture him so she stabs him in both eyes
Oh yeah.
and stabs him in the throat so that he can't talk and can't see.
Yes.
Covers his mouth with like a rag.
Oh, she stuffs it in
And
there.
then
Yeah.
she's talking to him and telling him how she's Arya Stark and that she was on his list, and she's stabbing him like in the chest and in the lower
Yes.
back
Yes.
and in the stomach and just
Oh,
like
yes.
slowly just fucking destroying him basically.
What a fucking killer, dude. She is an amazing little hitman.
She has become a fucking crazy killer.
Dude, she learned from the best. She is she learned from Jaqen Hagar and like, you know, that whole season where he's giving him names and he's just killing people and you start to realize how he actually did this. But she tries to sneak back and replace the face and gets caught, and Jaqen is like, girl is not ready. Girl broke the code. And there's this crazy like sequence where she keeps pulling the face off the dead guy and she keeps pulling the face off. And then finally it's her face. And she goes blind
Yep.
because she fucked up.
Can't piss off the faceless god.
She just had a little bit of patience and went through her training. She was not. So I was like, what the fuck is she's fucking blind. She has to redeem herself. How do you do it when you're blind? Wow. That was great. That was great. Good stuff.
Yeah. What else? There's one
Finally, Jaime Lannister.
more. Oh, did you
Bronn.
just take a nice big hit of that fucking vape?
I'm vaping.
What
I did.
what flavor is that?
Oh, it's my usual like berry. It's like mixed
Berry nuts? Okay, got it.
Berry nuts. How you like these nuts? You're gonna love my nuts. It's berry and it's
I'm gonna
delicious.
bury my nuts in your ass.
Jamie and Bronn are sent to get
Not your ass. Figure.
what's that? So I figured
not yours.
just the
Figure of
general
speech,
ass,
right? No.
Yeah. You know the overall
the general ass in this
general
area.
ass. Yes, everyone's ass. Jaime and Bronn sent to get Marcella Lannister back, one of the incest kids, for Cersei because Cersei misses her daughter and she doesn't know what's going on. Marcella is doing pretty good in where Oberyn. Where is that? That is in
Dorne. That is in Sunspear, Dorne.
Oh, Dorne is great because we get to meet Oberyn's wife and his daughters, the sand snakes.
The sand snakes, yeah.
And one of them, Colleen Wing from Iron Fist.
Yep.
Also, the Prince Doran is a guy who's playing Ra's al Ghul in Gotham right now. Same guy. So she's gonna get married to they're the Martells, not the Tyrells. It's like
they're the Martells.
Martells, yeah. And
Dorne, incidentally, was one of the last kingdoms to finally fall into the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh.
And the only reason it did is because the Targaryens made a marriage alliance with the Tyrells with what the fuck was her name? I forgot her fucking name. The girl that got killed by the Hound or the Mountain. It's you wouldn't know her name.
Okay,
it doesn't matter.
Okay,
it's the sister of the Red Viper.
I still don't know who that is.
Oberyn Martell.
Oberyn. Oh, Oberyn. Yes.
Yeah. His sister.
Yeah. Oh, right. Wait, who's that girl?
Elia Martell.
That's his. Oh, that's his sister.
Oh, wait, what are you talking about? Which girl?
I thought Oberyn. That's Oberyn's wife. I thought.
That's his lover.
Oh, okay. His sister was killed, right?
His sister was killed,
yes, her. Okay.
I just threw some Game of Thrones history at you. Yeah.
No, yes, the Mountain. Yes, Oberyn wanted to kill the Mountain because he killed Oberyn's sister and children.
Yeah,
and that's what. Then he got cocky and got his head squished, which was great. But Marcella doesn't really want to go. She's in love with the dude, and they sneak in, and they finally convince. Well, they kind of kidnap her. Some shit goes down, and they kind of take her back, and Oberyn's wife gives Marcella a kiss on the lips.
His wife
or his lover. Yeah. Anyways, she gives her a very suspicious, firm kiss on the lips.
Yeah.
As Jaime and Marcella are getting on the boat, and then on the boat, oh, this was so fucking sad and tragic. And once she kissed her, I was like, oh shit. So what I didn't see coming was Marcella telling Jaime that she knew he was her dad all along, and she loved him anyway. And the relief on his face and the hug, I'm like, this show is so cruel. They gave Jaime the one short moment that he could be
a dad.
He could be a dad finally. And then her nose starts bleeding, and she dies in his arms. Holy shit. And I knew when she kissed her, I was like, that doesn't look good.
No. Well, there's snakes.
They're snakes. The sand snakes are great. So,
her name is Alaria Sand.
That's
She's a
Oberyn's
lover
sister.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, no, that's the lover, Oberyn's lover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alaria Sand, she's a bastard, by the way.
Are those her daughters?
So 2 of those are Oberyn's daughters from other marriages, and then one is his daughter with Alaria, I think. Goddamn
confusing family tree, but I think I got it straight now.
Yeah.
What happened to Bronn? He just went missing at the end.
I think he's on the boat. I don't know.
No, I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't remember.
I assume he's on the boat.
But damn, tragic moment, and Jaime makes it back just in time to see.
Jaime gets no happiness.
And then the one thing I gotta mention. No fucking Bran Stark. No Horde.
Yeah.
What
I remember you saying something. You were like
halfway through. I was like, they're not going to show us anything about Bran.
I remember you being hyped at the end of the season 4, like, oh, Bran's meeting these weird fuckers. Wonder what's going to happen. And
who's that old guy in the tree? What does he mean that you're going to fly?
They take Bran Stark out for this season.
I kind of love that because I'm even more excited to find out what happens. I foresee him riding a dragon.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
Because of what the guy said, you'll never walk again, but you will fly.
You will fly.
And I was like, is he going to ride a dragon? Or doesn't mean he can go into a bird and he can fly. But very interesting. One storyline completely just put to the back burner for a whole season. And I didn't mind.
It's very ballsy by them.
The only mention we get is when Sansa finds out from Reek that they're alive. That's it.
Reek.
So now Sansa and Theon go find Bran.
What was your favorite storyline this season?
Fuck, I don't know. Jon Snow's shit was great because I didn't see him. His whole thing about he could have returned to Winterfell and ruled there, and he passed on that only to get killed as like a martyr. Very Malcolm X style, I thought also. I don't know. They were all good. Everything we just talked about.
I'm at the point now where I don't remember.
No, it kind of blurs together.
What happened in what seasons until we do these recaps. So I really can't tell you what I thought was best.
I mean, and Samuel also gets deflowered. It's another
does with Gilly.
With Gilly, virginity. That was really nice. I was like, good for Samuel. One final thing, just a note on season 8. Season 8 just started production this month. It's going to shoot through the end of the summer of next year, 2018.
Oh, wow.
So we're probably not getting shit until 2019.
Long wait.
Over a year away. This is why I didn't watch season 6 yet. Like, I watched this a week ago. I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it. But fuck it. We're going to get through it, and then we can just geek out for a year about Game of Thrones shit, and I can know what everyone's talking about.
Catch up, Imran. I'm already in the conversation.
I got to, and also, as far as I understand, season 6 is when they start passing up George R.
Season 6,
Martin.
you're starting to see that they don't have book material anymore.
There wasn't a book anymore.
Yeah.
This will be interesting.
Apparently, they were drawing from George R. R. Martin's notes, so we'll see.
So, has he put out a new book yet? Still?
No.
Jesus.
No.
So the book ends at season 5, technically. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this could be really interesting to see how this changes storylines, pacing, the dynamics. What are they going to do?
Season 6 and season 7, man.
I got 6 and 7, and we'll power on. All right. We'll finish with a couple of email feedback items. So last week, Anthony, you weren't here. Jimmy the Geek sent us this awesome email, and he had nerd items for me and jock items for you. So I saved the jock items.
I appreciate that.
From our buddy Jimmy the Geek. He asks, Team USA Soccer did not qualify for the World Cup in 2018. Wow. Thoughts, Anthony?
Not a big soccer guy, but that is fucking embarrassing that they did not.
Is that a big deal? Do they always qualify?
That they haven't not qualified since like the mid 80s, 1980s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, they apparently, so they lost to Trinidad and Tobago, which is like unbelievable because that country is like 1 million or 2 people at most, and we're a $300 million country.
At football.
No, they're not. That's a thing. They're not. They're like 99th in the world, and we're like 28th, and we lost to them. And there were like 2 other things that had to happen, and they all happened, and it was like the biggest collapse ever for like Team. I mean, their coach has already been fired. Like it is a huge embarrassment for Team USA because Team USA is in what they call the CONCACAF, so it's like North America.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
CONCA what?
It's their division, I guess, because like there's South America, North America, Europe, Asia. They're in a division that really isn't that great. I mean, the only other powerhouse in our grouping is like Mexico. So yeah, it's very embarrassing for that. And
my God,
makes me even less inclined to watch the World Cup. I always get into the World Cup, but it's nice having the U.S. there, and they're not.
I got into the World Cup one year because we had friends who were really into it, and we would go to the bar like at 8 in the morning or whatever, and like they're serving like booze, and you go, and I really got into it. It was a lot of fun. But so the coach got fired.
Bruce Arena, he coached USA Soccer like 16 years ago and took them in to a decent run in the World Cup. But
damn, I think he got off easy because I believe like when Pakistan didn't make like the cricket World Cup. They like killed the coach.
Oh my God.
They like bombed him and fucking killed him or something. Like I had to run. They take that shit seriously. You do not qualify. Okay, second item, he says, also as Chicago guys, how does one determine if they are a Cubs or White Sox fan? Is it based on where you grew up? I always wanted to know that. Please share insights. Great question. Anthony, I'll let you start.
It is the size of your penis. If you're a Cubs fan, you have a big penis.
Shit.
Oh boy.
No. Usually it's so north side and south side of Chicago.
Yeah. Yes.
There's 2, north, south, obviously. But north siders are usually Cubs fans and south siders are usually White Sox fans just because Wrigley Field is located on the north side.
The north. Yep.
And White Sox are now it's called Guaranteed Rate Stadium. Terrible name.
Worst name ever.
Is located on the south side of Chicago. So those are usually how it's determined, but it's also like what family you grew up in. Like I know a lot of White Sox fans that live up on the north side, and I'm sure there's a lot of Cubs fans that are down on the south side.
Yes, there are opposite fans and opposite, but it's usually generational in your family.
It's usually family. Now, but at one time it's still like the majority of White Sox fans are on the south side, majority of Cubs fans are on the north side. If you are not from Chicago, you may or may not know this, but not only are the Cubs better because they are, but nationally and even here in Chicago, the Cubs are probably the more popular team. That's me just saying. That's not me being biased. It's the truth. The Cubs are probably the more popular team, not only in Chicago but nationally as well.
I mean, they put their logo on any apparel and it sells. It's hugely recognizable.
They are one of the premier franchises in baseball.
Even when they sucked for years, they still sell tickets. They still sell T-shirts. People are buying hats. They're wearing Cubs shit all the time.
Which was either genius or a stroke of luck. Was the fact that for all those years they convinced people that coming to a Cubs game didn't matter. It was just a big party, and like Wrigley Field's just this big party, so everyone they'll sell out.
And
all
people
the time.
just get drunk and piss themselves in the bleachers.
Biggest frat party ever.
It really is. And even me, like growing up, not being into sports, I very quickly understood that, like, north side is Cubs and south side is White Sox. And you do not want to wear a White Sox hat on the north side or vice versa.
I would say you would be okay wearing a White Sox hat up on the north side.
Not the other way around.
Not the other way around. You might get more shit wearing. I think.
Yeah.
White Sox fans, if they're listening, might hate me for this. I think White Sox fans are very bitter about things and very little brother syndrome because they are.
Yeah. That's why I remember talking to someone else why they hate each other, and they're like the Cubs just easily get everything and nobody cares about.
White Sox fans, I would say, in my opinion, White Sox fans generally just dislike the Cubs. Whereas Cubs fans really could not give a shit about the White Sox. That's maybe just me. But
does it still get violent? It used to get violent.
Of course
back
it gets violent. I mean, it's not like people are killing each other, but people get drunk and
people used to get stabby a little bit. Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe punchy. Maybe not stabby.
I'm sure all of our listeners not from Chicago find this very riveting.
Well, look, if you ever come to Chicago, now you know what hat to wear and not get fucked up. Basically. And then finally, I got an email, a full email from Wes Cranford from Down Under, one of our funniest listeners. He says, "How's it, guys? Haven't talked in a while. Enjoyed today. Rug Boy, you don't need to worry at this point when I listen to you guys. It's more like listening to my friends talk shit. No worries about making it funny. Imran Big Mouth rules. I laughed really hard. Been a long time since I rolled one and watched a quality cartoon. You two should know that I am a sole trader doing maintenance work for Stratas as a handyman and locksmith. Laughed pretty hard when you told the story about idiot handyman. I am in people's flats all the time when they are at work. You have to respect." This is based off last episode, Anthony, so you probably don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the fuck he's talking
about. He says, "Rug Boy, I used to work at Billy's Locks in Greenpoint back in the day. One day I'll hit Chicago, we can grab a beer. And no, beers are not bigger here. It's a myth. Only tourists drink Foster's. Aussies do love their beer, and we've recently had an explosion of craft breweries like US in late 80s. I'm loving it as craft beer is one of my favorite foods. Hey, I expected you to mention the new X-Men trailer." Wes, it wasn't out when we recorded the show. We mentioned it now. I was not crazy about Star Wars trailer, but I'll check it out again tonight after hearing you guys praise it. Maybe I wasn't in the mood. Ex-wife is being a cunt and working hard at sucking all the pleasure out of life.
Oh, shit.
Finding it hard not to really hate women. Sorry, girls. I know I'm wrong here. Anyway, take it easy. Keep it up. And review Blade Runner. Tony will love it. Wes from Down Under.
Talking nerd.
Thanks for the email. And a lot of people have said we should review Blade
I've heard that too, and I haven't seen the original Blade Runner. Are you talking about the new one or the...
Yeah, the new one.
They want us to review the new one.
Yes.
I haven't seen the original one.
Okay, and I haven't seen the original one in a long time. I barely remember it. I wonder if we could just go watch the new one. It's a long movie, too. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I feel like
we should watch the original one if we watch the new... Have you seen the original one?
I have. Long time ago. And I'm sure if I watch it now, it'll be like a whole different perspective on it. So if you're up for it, Anthony, we'll watch both movies. We'll review it
together.
Not at once, but we'll watch the first one. We'll watch Blade Runner 2049. We'll review Blade Runner, and then we can just talk about how it, whatever.
One day, yeah.
I don't know when this is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know when this is going to happen.
But thanks for everyone is like, you guys should review Blade Runner. So
I've heard it's good.
I've heard it's good too. I've also heard that it's long and boring also, though. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard that it's just maybe I heard that it could be taken a little too pretentious, but Matt Dahlhauer left an awesome initial reaction on the Patreon. He loved it. But then it depends on the kind of moviegoer you are. You may find that it's pretentious. I don't know. One of these days, Wes and everyone who wants us to review Blade Runner, we will. Maybe.
Oh, shit.
We'll see what happens. You throw enough money in the Patreon, listener. Anything's possible.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Visit the website. Listen, subscribe in Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review. In fact, do this, listener. We always tell you to tell a friend, subscribe at the end of the show here. This is what you got to do. I want you to do right now, wherever you're listening, whatever app, if it's on the website, if you're on your phone, I know that there is a share button on there. And it's probably hooked up to Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And if your app does not have a share button, that's a shitty app. You shouldn't be using it. Delete it. Find another app, because every podcast app, just hit that share button right now. Share it out, wherever. That's all we want you to do. That's how you can help. It's exhausting promoting the show all week long. I need your guys' help. So
yeah, and I don't do shit. So
and Anthony doesn't do anything.
So you really need to help us.
But go to EDM concerts and hit on chicks. That's basically his job.
Yeah,
but that's his job.
what
That
I
was in the
gotta do.
contract we signed when we started. Yeah, so that's the show. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll catch you next time.